Tomorrow in Riders, romance and adultery.
Miranda Jane reveals all.
I wonder what his poor wife will say.
Jake doesn't love you.
I mean, you married him because he was all that was left.
You're so beautiful, I can't stand it.
It's either Campbell Black or Lover.
Jilly Cooper's Riders concludes tomorrow at 9 on ITV.
Bernard Matthews, crispy crumb turkey steaks. All their family love them. That's why I've popped in an extra one free. 5 for the price of 4. Beautiful.
I want to be out of this before I'm 60.
We want to be branching out and going for growth. Branching out and going for growth. I want to be able to get a word in. Branching out and going for growth. Branching out.
I want to be an individual.
I want to be where he's sitting.
I want to be able to get my hands on that car salesman.
If you want to be able to see your financial future more clearly, the earlier you talk to Prudential, the better.
I want to be young again.
Whatever you want to be planning it with Prudential.
We hope you don't have problems like this when you come to tune in to Mr. Bean Goes to Town, Bank Holiday Monday at 8:30 on ITV. This month in First Tuesday, meet George Parsonage, whose life is devoted to rescuing people and recovering bodies from the River Clyde.
So I dived in, got hold of him, and I tried to pull him away, and the weeds were holding him tight. The weeds were wrapping themselves around me too.
And in Newcastle, a special school for teenage mums.
I had just turned 13 when I started pregnant. I wanted to tell my Auntie Pauline that I was pregnant, but I was too scared.
Fascinating stories in First Tuesday, Tuesday after news at 10.
Tonight in 20 Minutes, Encounter follows a group of teenagers in their search for God. Then at 10 to 12, Sharon Gless stars as a lawyer in the trials of Rosie O'Neill. Now in Yorkshire, it's news time.
Good evening, this is the news from ITN. Tonight's headlines. Bosnia's Serb leader signs the Owen Vance peace plan. Britain and America call on the warring factions to lay down their arms. And United fans celebrate the championship after 26 years. A peace plan has finally been signed which could end the war in Bosnia. The Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic has added his name to the Owen Vance peace plan at the emergency summit in Athens. The decision still has to be ratified by the Bosnian Serb parliament. Downing Street called it good news as far as it goes.
The patience of the peace mediators appeared finally to have paid off today as Lord Owen and Cyrus Vance emerged to announce that they had the last signature on their plan to end the fighting in Bosnia.
After 8 months of work around the clock from dawn till dusk, to come to the point where now all of the parties have signed the peace plan. I look forward to seeing, I hope, rapid progress, very rapid progress in the implementation.
This is a happy day, a day in the Balkans, a day in Athens, sunshine, and let's hope that this does mark the moment of an irreversible peace process for Bosnia-Herzegovina.
It was a marathon session of talks between the Serbs and their Bosnian Serb colleagues, which led to today's breakthrough at the Athens conference. But the man who finally gave in, Dr. Radovan Karadzic, still has to sell the deal to his parliament. If he fails, he says he's ready to stand down.
I will offer them my resignation, but before that I have to tell them everything that we can achieve after the war. And this is not just a few, this is not too less. There is possibility to exchange territories with Croats and Muslims out of this plan during peace times.
What will stiffen his resolve at home are the words of Serbia's President Milosevic, who, faced with the threat of military action, insisted Dr. Karadzic sign. But in this war, a signature has never guaranteed a ceasefire, let alone a lasting peace. Even with the Owen Vance plan signed, there are still grave doubts about whether the fighting in Bosnia will really stop. Libby Wiener, ITN, Athens.
Here, the Prime Minister has just finished talks with the US Secretary of State, Warren Christopher. They've sent their congratulations to Lord Owen and Cyrus Vance and called on all parties in Bosnia to implement an immediate ceasefire. But they've also agreed a series of measures, including military steps, if the fighting continues.
A tired Dr. Owen, arriving back at Heathrow tonight, dismissed reports that the Bosnian Serb parliament would reject his peace plan. They were not the key players, he said.
Even if the Assembly said no, the Yugoslavs would now insist that this settlement goes through. The crucial thing is the Belgrade Serbs have made up their mind. They want a settlement. They are the people who've done the real arguing with the Bosnian Serbs, and they wouldn't let this escape now.
But the American Secretary of State was more cautious. His mission to persuade America's allies to back military action against the Serbs, arranged before the peace deal, would continue.
Being here in London, I can't help but remember the signatures that were put on documents here before. Can't help but remember the broken promises and the horror and killing that followed that. So I greet it with hope, but with a good deal of skepticism. What really counts is what happens on the ground, whether the killing stops.
Tonight, after 5 hours of talks, Mr. Christopher and the Prime Minister called on all parties in Bosnia to implement the peace agreement without delay. A statement issued in the last half hour said the United States and her allies were developing a common position on stronger measures to be taken, including military steps, if the Serbs fail to implement the peace settlement. Mr. Christopher leaves tomorrow for Paris, Moscow and Bonn. Urgent talks will continue throughout the week.
The leader of the British UN soldiers in Bosnia also welcomed today's news. Lieutenant Colonel Bob Stewart said it would give them the moral authority to tell the warring factions to stop shooting one another.
Another ransacked village discovered by British troops today in the mountains around Vitez. Only now, after 2 weeks of intense fighting, are these remote places becoming accessible to UN forces. This was a Serb village, identical in most ways to those of Muslims and Croats, which have been destroyed in this war. But it's these communities which will now be asked to set aside their memories of atrocities and, in Lord Owen's words, begin to rebuild. But Athens is far from here. The killing and the wholesale destruction of property was carried out by neighbours who couldn't live together last week, but are now asked to do so next week. So what price the peace plan here?
Now at least it gives us a moral authority to go around to tell everyone, stop it, go home, stop fighting, stop shooting one another. It's all over. Please stop now.
In the Bosnian Serb capital Pale, the self-styled parliament has already rejected the Vance-Owen plan. They'll be meeting to discuss it yet again in 3 days' time. But on the streets there today, there was emphatic rejection of the plan from the majority of people. But in Bosnia, where ceasefires are signed and broken by someone at every nightfall, there are many scores to be settled and UN forces with a limited mandate trying to prevent them. After 8 months of negotiations, all sides may have signed for peace, but is that what it will bring? Colin Baker, ITN, Vitez.
South Africa's President F.W. de Klerk appealed for restraint today after the murder of 5 white men in the city of East London. The police are hunting a group of black gunmen following the attack on a hotel bar. The killings cast a shadow over today's funeral of the ANC leader Oliver Tambo.
The scene of carnage at an East London hotel after an attack by masked gunmen armed with grenades and assault rifles. 5 white men drinking in the bar were killed. 7 others were wounded. Another attack apparently designed to stir up racial hatred. Though no organisations yet claim responsibility, once more the timing seemed aimed at destabilising the country. The slaughter came just hours before the funeral of Oliver Tambo, the former ANC president in exile. Leaders from around the world paid their last respects to the architect of the struggle against apartheid, while the ANC's armed wing, once commanded by Mr. Tambo, put on its most impressive display since it was unbanned 3 years ago, a march past in the shadow of the latest racial massacre.
Another day of remembrance tainted by yet more killing. A sharp reminder that while most seek a peaceful settlement, there are still those who prefer a violent solution.
Another reason why Nelson Mandela will be calling on Britain to strengthen its support for democratic change when he meets Prime Minister John Major in London later this week. Jeremy Thompson, ITN, Johannesburg.
British Airways says today's 24-hour strike by Gatwick Airport cabin crews has cost the company millions of pounds. The dispute over pay and conditions by 250 workers stopped short-haul flights and affected 4,000 passengers.
A packed lunch and a newspaper before an hour-and-a-half-long coach ride to Stansted for holidaymakers unlucky enough to be caught up in today's strike at Gatwick.
Quite annoyed, actually. I mean, it always happens every holiday and it does seem to get worse and worse.
It's a bloody nuisance.
The dispute centres on British Airways' plans to transfer its short-haul Gatwick flights to a subsidiary company that pays its staff less. BA employees have been offered alternative short-haul work from Heathrow.
British Airways have always said that our members are the cutting edge. They're the ones that face the customers. They're the ones that deliver the goods for British Airways, and their input, therefore, is vital. British Airways have got to start to learn to invest in people and not shortchange people.
Quite frankly, British Airways can no longer continue to take the sort of losses that we've been taking on short-haul services here at Gatwick. We have to change that, or else, like many others, we'll simply have to close down that bit of our business.
Later this month, BA staff will be balloted on whether to extend the dispute nationwide. Today's strike is the culmination of a dispute which has been simmering between the unions and British Airways since it took over Dan Air last October. And it's a dispute which, unless settled, threatens to bring another summer of disrupted flights for air travellers. James Forlong, ITN, Gatwick Airport.
The Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, says a deadly form of meningitis could soon be eliminated. It follows the success of a vaccination campaign launched in October. Cases of the Hib strain of meningitis have fallen by more than 70%.
We've had a £1.25 million information campaign with the Health Education Authority. The result is that the information about this Hib vaccine and the take-up have been frankly remarkable.
Friends and colleagues of the former French Prime Minister Pierre Bérégovoy have claimed he took his life after being hounded by the media. They say allegations of financial irregularities drove him to suicide. Monsieur Bérégovoy died on the way to a military hospital in Paris yesterday after shooting himself in the head. His family say he'll be buried on Tuesday at the cathedral in his hometown of Nevers, where he'd been mayor. Manchester United have won the Premier League title, ending a 26-year chase for the championship. Aston Villa's challenge ended this afternoon in defeat against Oldham. United last won the title in the days of George Best and Bobby Charlton.
Every Manchester United supporter was an Oldham fan for the day, on the edge of their seats as their northern neighbours took on Aston Villa. Oldham did not disappoint them. Nick Henry put Oldham ahead after 29 minutes, the underdogs humbling the championship contenders. Within minutes, a free kick gave Villa their best chance of the match. But you need a certain amount of luck to win the league, and today Villa's luck ran out. The final whistle was agony for Villa manager Ron Atkinson, ecstasy for United fans. The party began immediately, celebrating United's first championship in more than a quarter of a century.
Happiest day of my life. Happiest day of my life.
We've waited 26 years to watch United win the title. To be able to celebrate at home, it's fantastic. Absolutely superb.
It's going to be one hell of a party.
The last United team to win a championship with a 6-1 defeat of West Ham was the stuff of legend. Charlton, Law, Best and Styles. The red and white army invading the pitch to salute another Old Trafford legend, Matt Busby. United's current manager is guaranteed a hero's welcome at tomorrow's game against Blackburn.
Well, you'd have to see it to believe it, I suppose, but I think they'll be obviously very, very pleased, because I think, you know, they've had a really good season and hopefully we can just round it off.
These celebrations are expected to go on all night, with more than a few hangovers here at Old Trafford when United are finally crowned champions tomorrow night. Howell Jones, ITN, Manchester.
Ian Botham tried to impress the England selectors today with a fine bowling performance against Australia. He's pushing for a place in the Ashes side in what could be his last season. One of the spectators who saw him play for the Duchess of Norfolk's 11 was Mr John Major.
For the Prime Minister, there's certainly no end to his appetite for cricket. He was in the crowd today at a packed Arundel, but as the Duchess of Norfolk's team took the field, the star of the show was keeping his head down, signing hundreds of autographs for his loyal followers. The Botham fan club, though, had come for signs rather than signatures, evidence that he's in the mood for another comeback. His bowling certainly looked sharp enough. Australia's captain Border embarrassed by a beautiful delivery. But how much does he have to achieve to win over England's infamous selectors?
Well, I'd like to think I wouldn't have to do any more than anyone else. But we'll see. At the end of the day, I don't think, people know what I can do. I keep on seeing selectors walk down. It's really a few months, so anything I'm fitter.
Enough to first of the game, short inning, as his team failed by just 7 runs to beat the Tourists. The PM press avoid selection debate. Are you hopeful of Ian Botham back in the England side, sir?
He's always a great entertainer, isn't he? One of the best entertainers we've ever had. Great player.
Peter Staunton, ITN, Arundel.
And that's the news tonight from all of us here on the Weekend Team. Good night.
Good evening. Well, it looks as though we're in for quite a chilly night tonight across most of the country. We have high pressure in charge, and with light winds and clearing skies, that does make for a fairly chilly night. There's the ridge of high pressure across the country. 1 or 2 showers coming around the top of the high to northwestern parts. And this old front that's troubled us all day today, well, generally speaking, that's beginning to clear away now, and the cloud will quickly go. Quite misty in some central and eastern parts, and there's those showers up in the northwest. Even some sleet and snow in the Scottish mountains. Now, as promised, a chilly night, temperatures down towards freezing, even below freezing in a few spots. In fact, quite a sharp frost in the Central Highlands by the end of the night. That does mean that tomorrow dawns for most of us fine and dry with a fair amount of sunshine, probably the best of the sunshine in the Midlands and western parts of Wales there. But up to the northwest, fair few showers right from the word go, some of them quite brisk, quite heavy, still some sleet and snow on the Scottish mountains. As we go through into the afternoon, the showers tending to develop a little more widely as they come down towards the Midlands, but the southeast staying probably on the whole dry and bright, with temperatures, well, around 13 or 14 in most places, but with the wind coming in off the North Sea, that northeast coast will once again be rather chilly. Good night.
Now, here's the local weather. The rest of the night will remain dry right across the region, and with cloud becoming more broken from the northwest. Some ground frost is expected to form as temperatures fall as low as 3 Celsius 37 Fahrenheit in places. The northerly winds are likely to remain light throughout the night, and a good deal of sunshine is expected for Monday, and it will be a mostly fine and dry day. 1 or 2 showers may occur in the afternoon, though, mainly on the Pennines. The winds will be light again, but it will feel rather cool with a high of 12 Celsius 54 Fahrenheit. That's the forecast then. Here's the summary of the weather for Bank Holiday Monday. A few light showers with sunny spells. Teenagers go in search of God next during Encounter.
Carol is determined to scupper Lorraine's latest plan in Emmerdale.
I don't want my daughter working here.
Pardon? She beat 10 final applicants for the job.
Then I suggest you ring one of them and make their day.
Checking on your marrows, are you, Amos?
Have you two been saying?
I haven't said a word, Amos, honest.
Bon viveur approaching 50. Is this a very old advert?
I didn't want any old women replying.
Tuesday and Thursday at 7 on ITV.
What could be better than to spend a day at the races? Bring your family and friends to sample the splendid atmosphere of racing at one of Yorkshire's 9 racecourses. Where else will you find so much choice all the year round? For a free fixture booklet, ring now on 0937 580 051. Go racing in Yorkshire this week.
Be a two-car family with a 16-valve Nissan Primera.
The world revolves at 1,000 miles per hour. It's enough to make you dizzy. Talk amongst yourselves. I may be sometime. If you keep an open mind, you'll discover dark secrets. Have you been here long?
Did you know that rice is low in fat?
I knew that.
I knew that. And did you know that rice is part of a wholesome diet?
I knew that.
I knew that. This is Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Most people don't know that each Rice Krispie is made with a real grain of rice.
Well,
I didn't know that.
I mean, I didn't know that most people didn't know that.
For everyone who didn't know that Kellogg's Rice Krispies is made with real rice, we have one question. What on earth do you think it was made with?
I don't know.
In the Homeworld price crash, you'll find lower prices on furniture, lower prices on electrical items. In fact, lower prices all around the store. The Homeworld price crash, open this bank holiday.
Does God exist? A group of young people now seek the answer.
I don't believe in God.
I hope there's a God.
I think I believe in God, but then I used to believe in Santa Claus as well.
Why not believe? If there is a God, you'll be saved.
Next tonight, Sharon Gless stars as the public defending lawyer in the trials of Rosie O'Neill, our first programme on the night shift.
These are the trees the Wilkinsons planted, with the interest on their savings account, which, they didn't realise, had been loaned to an industrial giant that ceaselessly spews toxic waste. The Cooperative Bank.
You know, gardeners everywhere are getting wonderful results with Miracle Grow plant food. Well, now there's Miracle Grow lawn food for the beautiful lawn you've always wanted. Now, it's so easy. Just use your watering can. It feeds as you water, so it can't scorch. Use it any time, even in a hot summer. It's absorbed fast, so you see results fast. And with your Miracle Grow feeder, you can feed a larger lawn in minutes. Miracle Grow lawn food. for the beautiful lawn you've always wanted.
The Magnet kitchen and bedroom sale has been extended, and the added attraction is an extra 10% off, but only until Bank Holiday Monday.
Nivea has just created the advanced Nivea Visage Liposome range. We could tell you all about liposomes and their ingredients, but would you be interested? We could even show you what they look like, but would you really care? We're sure that what you'd really rather see is the result. Naturally beautiful skin. So for naturally beautiful face care, today and tomorrow, Nivea Visage.
New Pears Foam Bath. Clear. Gentle. Soft. Smooth. Cleansed. Pears Pure Body Care. Because all my skin needs is pears and water.
What would you do if you were stuck in the same day over and over? Anything you want.
I have been stabbed, shot, electrocuted.
You're God.
I'm a god. I'm not the god.
Groundhog Day.
Separate colour detergent and softener could mean spending more than you need. Stop. Why buy two? Better buy new Bold Colour.
Say au revoir to Angleterre and bonjour to the new Fiesta Nouveau diesel from £7,995. With a choice of metallic colours, body styles and soft music to set the mood, it's perfect for romantics. And there's fresh air for when passions run high. And because it has the economy of a 1.8 diesel engine, it's one love story with a happy ending. Shire Ford dealers, we've a great deal to offer.
At Knowsley Safari Park, you can have a family day out for only £8, and we've got more animals than ever. Knowsley Safari Park, a great day out and still only £8 a car.
Telephone banking and access to cash from over 5,000 link machines across Britain. The Cooperative Bank. Why bank with one that isn't?
On average, there's a burglary in this region every 25 seconds. They're a growing problem, and it could happen to you or your neighbour. Valuable property is often stolen, but regardless of value, theft causes distress and anguish, and it can all happen in a matter of minutes. But for every burglar, there's someone else who's willing to buy his stolen property. And some of this business could be going on around you, but you can help. If you've information about burglaries or about people who are selling stolen property, call Crime Stoppers. You don't have to give your name, your call is free, and you could claim a cash reward for the information you provide. So phone Crime Stoppers now on 0800 555 111 if you can help solve burglaries or any other crime.
Coltrane in a Cadillac.
Hoping for adventure, and whatever comes our way.
Coltrane on the law.
Shit.
Coltrane on diplomacy.
Best behavior, boys. Don't mention Vietnam.
Tuesday, 8:30 on ITV.
Welcome to the Night Shift with entertainment through till stakes, starting with personal drama, the trials of Rosie O'Neill.
I want to be out of this before I'm 60.
We want to be branching out and going for growth. Branching out and going for growth. I want to be able to get a word in. Branching out and going for growth. Branching out.
I want to be an individual.
I want to be where he's sitting. I want to be able to get my hands on that car salesman.
If you want to be able to see your financial future more clearly, the earlier you talk to Prudential, the better.
I want to be young again.
Whatever you want to be planning it with Prudential.
New vice versas from Nestle are brown chocolate in a white shell and white chocolate in a brown shell. So,
look twice before you leave. Things you want to seem to be. Still waters run deep. It don't make no sense to me. The lesson here is crystal clear. Don't believe all that you see.
white is brown and vice versa.
Oh, this is the life.
Just the two of us.
Excuse me. Couldn't give me a lift ashore, could you?
Of course.
Climb aboard.
Coffee?
Terrific. Nescafe. No mistaking coffee at its best. Thanks. Look, I'd like to return the favor. Why don't you join me on my boat tomorrow?
The best days are Nescafe days.
Oh yeah, I love my new Escort 1.6 LX.
I adore the responsive 16-valve engine. The power steering is fantastic. And the anti-theft alarm's useful. The sound system's great too. Not to mention electric windows and all the other equipment. All for under £10,500 from the Shire Ford dealers.
I just wish I got to drive it now and again.
Thanks, Dad.
Shire Ford dealers. We've a great deal to offer.
This bank holiday, Texas Tom's revealing an extra special paint offer. 25% off all square deal paint. All the colors, all the whites, all the options. Superb square deal with 25% off every marked price. It's got to be Texas this bank holiday.
Be a two-car family with a 16-valve Nissan Primera.
Dr. Patel to reception, please. Dr. Patel to reception.
Dad!
Oh, to what I owe the pleasure.
I'm here with Maria and the Nipper for holiday jams.
I know, you must have booked into a dodgy old campsite.
No, the Gambia, actually.
The Gambia?
Oh, what was that for?
See if you're made of money.
We saved for it.
Saved? You? Money used to run through your hands quicker than lax did through your Aunt Maud. You hated saving.
No, Maria got me into it. It's an Abbey National thing, an instant saver account. It's looked after us for years.
Know how it feels.
We get great rates, and because we save with them, we get the chance to win a car.
Now that I could do with. Hi.
Come along now, young man.
It was hoisting the battery on your mother's old banger brought my trouble on again.
Oh, I am sorry.
You will be. It's hereditary.
Abbey National, the habit of a lifetime.
Why won't my powder get this chip grease out at 40 degrees?
Because it's fat. But Ariel Ultra can digest fat at 40 degrees.
And butter? At 40 degrees, my powder won't usually shift it. How come?
Because it's fat. But Ariel Ultra can digest fat at 40 degrees.
How?
Because Ariel Ultra has fat digester. On these fat stains at 40 degrees, some other compacts can have problems. But Ariel is better on fat, leaving clothes ultra clean.
I hate to admit it, but Ariel's worked.
The fat had no chance.
Ariel Ultra can digest fatty food stains at 40 degrees some other compacts leave behind.
In the still before dawn, if you listen carefully, you'll hear something in the breeze that says this day is fresh and rich and alive. Sounds like another good morning. McDonald's. Always good food, always good value.
This Bank Holiday Monday on ITV, Cluedo.
Hi, guys.
And special guest Caroline Langrish comes to an untimely end. There's a jolly jaunt to town for our hero Mr. Bean for more comical encounters. And then...
Miranda Jane reveals all.
I wonder what his poor wife will say. Jake doesn't love you. I mean, you married him because he was all that was left.
You're so beautiful, I can't stand it.
It's either Campbell Black or love him.
The concluding part of Jilly Cooper's Riders, and with Coronation Street at 7:30, this is the lineup for your Bank Holiday Monday entertainment here on ITV.
Cream Silk Conditioner now contains Pro-Vitamin B5, which strengthens hair from the inside to keep it looking healthy on the outside. Cream Silk Conditioner, the